What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. 10 times a week. Yes. All right, guys. Hope you guys are having a really great day today. Listen, we're back with Witch on the Holy Night. I mean, this time's not going to get me off guard. So, let's continue with this little demo and see where it goes. Walking around the mansion at night often led to mysterious encounters. Mist might suddenly fill the hallway, or doors might appear and disappear. Just when Sojuro thought he had seen it all, with pig-shaped shadows mending the carpet, he heard the sound of birds flapping coming from the sunroom. As much as he had become accustomed to turning a blind eye to such occurrence, the sound of flapping wings in the sunroom was too much to ignore. And not just one bird or even two, it sounded like dozens. So many birds packed in the sunroom would it inevitably lead to shatter the windows and broken glass. Okay, my dogs get Sojuro grabbed the broom and dashed towards the sound, prepared for the worst. Perhaps he was moved by his natural impulse to help or desperate self-defense. His mind flashed to what a teacher had said at school.
皆さんも部屋の整頓は心がけてくださいね。人間の自制心って環境に流されるらしいですから。ほら、それまで犯罪の少ない町だったのに、一つボロボロの家ができただけで近隣住人がみんな自堕落になるというあれ。環境への無関心さがすさんだ精神を作り上げるとか眉唾ですけど、正直なところブームだからって盗んだバイクで走り回ったり、学校の廊下の窓ガラスとか割って回っちゃダメですよ。先生の
At the time, school gangs had what's that word? Garnered a certain reputation amongst the youth.
窓が割れると心が割れる。
Sojuro appreciated the basic message of the lecture as he ruminated over it. The thought of broken windows had given him a sense of urgency, as the mansion's very moral foundation were at stake. His roommates were harsh enough to, with him, already anything further would only lead to rampant rumors at school about their cruelty. He had to protect the honor of the students' council president. It was also concern for his own safety that sent him rushing to the sunroom. However, it wasn't a bird to be seen or a chirp to be heard upon his arrival. Only Alice and Aoko, sipping afternoon tea at the table that overlooked the courtyard, were present. The dozen of birds Sojuro had sensed with his mountain intuitions were nowhere to be.
今ここに鳥が来なかった？
アリス、見た？さあ、もう見えないのならいないということでしょう。だって、いないよ、鳥。
It was a lie, so blatant even Sojuro could see through it.
そんなバカな。
He knew for a fact he had heard the flapping of a flock of birds. Unable to accept that there were really no wild animals in the room, Sojuro approached the windows with suspicion. There was no feathers or any other sign of birds having been outside either.
あ、夕食、鳥鍋?
Of course, Aoko would say something like that as she watched Sojuro search desperately.
あいにく今日のバイトは魚屋さんだ。イワシでよければ土産にするけど。
イワシか？私、あのパイ嫌いなのよね。いえ、むしろイワシのパイとか食べたことないのよね。
Aoko's stand-up routine stand-up routine was far ahead of its time. Sojiro backed away from the window and begrudgingly left the sunroom. Feeling Alice's all too familiar inscrutable gaze upon his back. Just as he opened his mouth to ask her what she wanted, a blue comet crashed into his head. It needed no explanation. It could only be a robin, the mysterious bird that appeared frequently in the mansion. Chirp, 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 it shriveled occasionally. The truth was, the tiny aggressor that assaulted him just now was the greatest of the mansion's 7 wonders. Sojiro's encountered all sorts of people along his route to work. Still new to the city life, he found crowds of people outside the station utterly fascinating. In fact, they were the highlight of his commute. Not two people wore exactly the same clothes or walked the same fashion. With so many people, you would think they would all meet into an indistinguishable huddle, but each person he was with was different and unique. Sojiro was excited as a child as he looked out at the bustling, diverse streets of the city. Closing his eyes in shame, he sighed. He was upset with himself for behaving like a bumbling tourist from the countryside. A stern and familiar voice behind him snapped him out of his navel gaze.
なんだ、マッドベアに行く途中だったんだ。私はコンビニのバイト。こっちは5時からだけど、しずきは？
同じく5時から。くまりはどこか寄るところでも？
本屋に寄った帰り、読みたかった本がなくなってたから、仕方なく出歩いてたところよ。
なるほど。時間を持て余しているところも同じだね。
The girl who greeted him was Kojika Kumari, a work friend who was also in the same year as at Misaki High. Though it would have been more accurate to say she was looking for a pretext to fight him rather than to greet him. To Sojiro, Kumari had been the first person in the city who he would look up to. They met at his first job, where she insisted he wasn't cut out to work the register after many mistakes and convinced him to quit working at the convenience store altogether. Hold on, pause. What kind of person? Well, get the hell out of here, bro. Oh my gosh, he's looking out for her. Like, this is his inspiration. I guess. In the end, she introduced him to his current job at the Chinese restaurant, the Mad Bear, a much better fit for Sojiro.
何その無理やりな顔。なんか元気ない。いつも以上にイラッとくるわ。しずきのいいところなんていつもピシッとしてる背筋ぐらいなのにミッと。もしかして悩みとかあるの？マッドベアにタチの悪い先輩でもいるとか。それなら話ぐらいは聞いてあげるから。
Though her tone was stern, her eyes were earnest. Having grown up in the city herself, she was irritated by virtually everything Sojiro said and did. Nevertheless, she still treated him like an equal. Introducing him to his current job was just one example of her sincerity.
いや、別に悩みとかそういうんじゃなくて、不思議なことがあったというか、珍しいものを見たというか。
Sojiro could not find the words to explain his situation, But that did not stop him from trying. There were no problems at the Mad Bear to speak of. He liked it just as much as his other job at Otatsu, the fishmongers in the shopping district. In fact, his problems had nothing to do with work at all. No, his problems were a certain blue bird that would not stop pecking at him recently.
鳥につっつかれる？何それ？小さい悩み。でもまあ、青い鳥っていうのは確かに珍しいわね。
いや、珍しいのは外見の話じゃなくて。
Oh my gosh, I was yawning. He stopped, unsure to how to proceed. Words alone were not enough to convey the bird's plump body or the sound of its chirping.
綺麗な青色と言ったらマウンテンブルーバードだけど、日本にはいないわよね。青いツバメだったらいるかもしれないけど。いや、ツバメじゃなくて丸っこいんだ。図鑑で調べたんだけど、どうもコマドリっぽいけど。青色のコマドリは存在しない。しずきは縁日の青ひよこって知ってる？知らないわよね。いい、そう面白い話じゃないから忘れて。それよりそのコマドリって1羽だけなの？あ
あ、1羽だけだ。つがいは見当たらない。
突然変異だとしたらちょっとかわいそうね。生まれた時から最後の1羽だなんて孤独に。どんな鳥かは知らないけど、次に見かけたら優しくしてあげたら、自販機で10円を拾うぐらいの幸運は運んでくれるかもよ。
Her words were perfectly kind, but he could hardly sympathize with the creature after all the painful pecking to which it had subjected him. He wouldn't have called the bird lonely either.
いいじゃない、小鳥1羽ぐらい。そりゃ都会で鳥につつかれるのは珍しいけど、いい方の珍事よそれ。これがゴミ袋を漁るカラスの大群だったら困りものでしょうけど。
あ、そういえば他にも気になることが。
Her example had reminded him of the mystery of the disappearing birds at the mansion. A stranger than strange event.
実は今あそこに見える丘に住んでるんだけど、出るんだ。大量のムクドリが頻繁に。そのくせ街に出ると見かけない。
当たり前でしょう。街じゃ鳥なんて見かけないし、あそこは山だから動物は多いんじゃない？それよりあなた、あの山に引っ越したの？前のアパートは引き払ったって聞いてたけど、学校まで通うの大変じゃない。なんだってあんな偏僻なところに。
ちょっとした成り行きだよ。それに通うのは大変じゃない。大変なのは中の話なんだ。
It took 30 minutes to reach town on foot. The 40 minutes to the nearest convenience store would be a real kicker for most people, but for Sojiro, it was no inconvenience. The real problem was a dark force beyond human understanding that lurked within the grounds. Thanks, controller, for letting us know that you're about to, run out of battery.
すまない。それはクマリに話すことじゃなかった。それより今の話だ。街には鳥が少ないと言ったけど、どうして？
単に環境に適応できなかったのよ。何？鳥の話には随分と食いつくわね。しずき、動物好き？
どちらかというと好きな方だけど。
そう、私は嫌い。そんな私に鳥の話とかしてほしい。
Her statement could hardly be more self-concentrated, contradictory. Minutes after telling him to be nice to the bird that attacked him, she was now claiming she did not even like animals.
そうだな。嫌いなだけで苦手でないのなら、知ってる範囲で聞かせてほしい。
痛いとこつくじゃない。いいわ、 バイトまでの時間つぶしにしてあげる。さっきの続き、環境に適応できるかできないかってところからね。
The morning sun alerted Sojiro that a day of work lay ahead. Specifically, the gardens needed tended to, and an unkept garden made it for an unhappy Sojiro. Luckily, today was his day off from all his part-time jobs. It was a perfect opportunity to get his hands dirty. There was one problem, however. The mansion's grounds were vast. Not only had the courtyard been left to run wild, but the area around the front door has been neglected too. To tend to those problems thoroughly, he would have had to work on them week in and week out. In an ideal world, this task would only take a day, but for its enormity, for the moment, Sojiro decided that to set foot onto the mansion's wilderness and evict the weeds. Wasting none of the early light, he started tackling the ones around the mansion. By his estimation, he could clear the forecourt, courtyard, and backyard, then take a small rest. It was just before the noon in the sunroom. Alice had come down, but book in hand, to find Aoko sitting down with a fashion magazine and elegant sipping tea. Through the window, she could see the crouched figure of Sojiro shuffling by. Alice quietly sat down. Her teacup had been placed on the table for her. She poured herself some tea and proceeded to open her book. The two sat passing the time in silence, having happened to have the same idea, a nice relaxing cup of tea in the sunroom. With their evening roles decided, there was no need for idle chatter. Aoko stared out the window, intermediately turning her gaze to her own magazine. Alice was immersed in a book on rune magecraft, occasionally tilting her head up to recall something. As if by unspoken agreement, they pressed their teacups into their lips and glanced outside. To the two girls, Sojiro appeared as if he were an animal in a zoo. Neither was interested in lending a hand. Despite his sluggish movement, he was making good progress. As Aoko's attention turned back into the sunroom, her eyes met Alice. Alice returned her gaze to her book, though moments later she raised her head again. Clearing her throat, she attempted to focus on reading. It was no surprise that Alice admired Sojiro's diligence. Not even 30 minutes have passed before he had cleared the courtyard of the unsightly weeds. Without stopping once, the mysterious gardener left the courtyard. Puffing clouds of white breath. The area he had left was so spotless. Alice muttered after scanning over his work. A stalwart Sojiro worked confidently and ceaselessly. She was impressed, like she was watching a scene from a great movie, but before long, she grew irked. Why would he waste his energy like that, she thought. Alice looked at the clock.
焼却炉。今から手入れをしたら夕方ね。そっちはもう終わってるわ。朝、上から見てたもの。壊されちゃいけないからあれこれ指示出してね。いやー、窓開けて散々となったから部屋が冷えること冷えること。
It was safe to assume Aoko had come to the sunroom to escape her cold room. Between barking orders from the window and cleaning in the cold, it was clear who had the harder job.
しずきくん、何か言ってこなかった？言ってたけど、よく聞こえなかったわ。
In other words, his complaints fell on deaf ears. However, you should be wary, young lady, for this is not a story of just warmth and cheer. From here, we cross into the realm of night, bordering fact and fiction. And so, let us now speak of the witch and her day.
おはようございます。午前0時を確認しました。前回更新より24時間経過。バックアップ開始。周囲の地形をスキャンします。大気成分、窒素異常なし、酸素異常なし、アルゴン異常なし、二酸化炭素異常なし。第5仮説要素異常異常異常周囲の時空連続体に齟齬を確認第一種危険物との遭遇と断定視覚領域を主観から客観に変更自律回路を予備電源に計測回路を主電源に変更カメラを赤外線計測から虚数線計測に変更ではこれより戦闘行為の記述を開始します。主よどうか我が身を守りたまえ。
This is where we are gonna leave off. I think, because we've been reading for 25 minutes. Misaki City has thickened wood area. Urban development continued unbatted by Mother Nature. Still drew breath into the outskirts. Wise old trees had been turned into lumber. The leaves had begun to turn to mulch. Even though the birds who curiously tilted their heads had moved on, the virtue lived on, a testament to those enduring strength, until the time came that the devouring light of civilization became powerful enough to encroach upon nature's mysterious domain. These words were no exception. The outlying border between Misaki City and Misaki Hill had been left untouched. Though driven from their nests and dens here, wildlife continues to subsist even today. No longer able to return to the days before man, this was just like any other forest situated near the town. Winter had arrived in the woods. The chill cut like a razor, the icy air so thick it could reach one's bones. The exposed cheeks stiffen and wisps of breath formed swirls in the air before disappearing. It was 1 degree above freezing. The cold snap penetrated every nook and cranny of the woods, from the ground to the trees to the wildlife. The forest allowed nobody to enter during the day. During the winter, it willed the animal to slumber. The still evening air felt like the stagnant breath of the lingering dead. The forest consumed the moonlight, obscuring the sight of even the closest of precipices. I don't know, and hastening the untimely doom of any soul unfortunate enough to become lost within. The only noise to be heard were the whispering of the wind and the murmurings of the stream. The immortal darkness failed to see any sense of life. Not the breath of any animals, which says that a person was drawn into this place. However, a figure in black, not of this place, is called within. It casts the tiniest, frailest of silhouettes like a small boat lost in the area of fog. Its trepidatious footsteps echoed through the woods. Wait, are those bells in the game? Anyways, exiting the veil of the trees was the unmistakable likeness of a young girl. Alright, this is definitely where we're going to leave it off. Save it. How do I save it? But yes, thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Follow on Instagram, Mr. Gaming Link. Stop. Follow on Instagram, Mr. Gaming Link, INK, and all the good stuff. Subscribe, like, comment below, become part of Mr. Gaming Link, Mr. Gaming Incorporated. And everyone, please have a good afternoon, good evening. Stay safe, stay clean, stay healthy. Thank God in the morning we're alive, because if it was over him, we wouldn't be in the first place. Have faith in him and everyone's faith in him. Everything is going to be alright. Yes, so, I really wanted to see what was up. Though this demo this trial is very long. We won't continue it tomorrow. So if you guys want to play through the whole demo or the trial, whatever, you guys should do so. If you guys don't mind reading. I don't know how long it is, but if you want to see the rest of the trial for yourself, if you guys want me to read it, then do let me know. Either in the comment section down below or either on my Instagram, on the DMs, all that good stuff. But yeah. See you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody. All right, man. I say, but over. Have fun, stay safe. Go and don't walk in the woods when it's cold, because your controller battery is gonna run out. And yeah, man. I mean, see you guys tomorrow with. I'll see if I can find another demo. I did see, somebody did tell me in the comments of the Doom gameplay that we played. Somebody did tell me that it was the best iteration of the game. So that's pretty cool to hear. If that's going to be the case, then I would rather just buy all of the Doom games on the Switch and play them for you guys. If that's what you guys want. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that one bit. All right, guys, Zipper's over. Have fun, stay safe, and